and find something you're passionate about besides Ziggy.
Hey guys, so sorry I was muted. I was trying to find a particular spot the in this question Q&A that Andy did recently on his channel. So that's why I was a few minutes late. I don't think I found it, but I did find something interesting that I did want to play. Because we're going over the Fred Hill conversation I had with him in June during the time that the vigils were going on for Summer's 1 year of her disappearance. And while I was there, I obviously, spoke to Fred again and his girlfriend. And I just decided that it was probably a good time to revisit this interview. Well, conversation. I hate saying interview because it's even though I asked some questions, I pretty much just had a conversation with them like a normal human being. And that's how a lot of times people say to me that I have a way of talking to people, but listen to how I talk to people and relate to them. Like when I talk to Dawn or if I talk to Fred, you find common interest or you find things that you have in common. No matter how who the person is, you have something in common or you have a similar experience, and then you use that as a way to kind of relate with the person, and it makes them feel more comfortable when you place yourself on similar wavelength, and they'll just open up and feel comfortable talking to you. Okay. And so sometimes with my calls with Dawn, I would get, and even I would feel uncomfortable about it. Cause I'm like, man, I gave other people shit about it, but there is a certain way you have to talk with people. If you want them to open up to you or whatever. And that even includes Dawn Wells or Candace or whatever. So sometimes just because I'm being friendly with somebody or relating to them doesn't mean I agree with them or believe them. But I do believe Fred, and I stick with that. If ever I felt differently, I obviously would tell you guys. I've said on here before when I was kind of feeling weird about, and I don't know, when Andy started coming out and speaking, I started thinking, man, I believe him. I kind of believe him and stuff, but I don't know. As he continued, there was just things I saw he was doing. And so anyways, I thought it would be good to revisit Fred Hill's interview or conversation. So anyways, how's everybody doing? Hey, Liplock and Tabby, Lee, CG. I'm just scrolling up to see if I missed anybody's comments that were important. You guys, I really feel like this conversation, and I need to upload my first conversation with Fred too, individually. I have to. It's just I've been so busy. I'm actually really, really tired for some reason. I don't even know why. I mean, I slept I felt like I literally died and came back to life last night. I slept so deep. I don't, but I'm still feel like I could sleep longer. Hey, Red and Jennifer. TJ, you found your glasses. Yeah, speaking of glasses, I've been lost my pair of Coach glasses, and I've been like wondering where those are for months now. Like, I know they're hidden here in this mess somewhere. All this like inventory that I need to list and clutter. It has been a long 5, 6, 7 days for me. It's been, oh my gosh, crazy. But I also didn't still hear on the protective order. I haven't heard back for the one on my ex, but I did have a call from an unknown number yesterday late that I figured was probably him. That I didn't answer, but besides that, I haven't had any issues today so far. Hey, Jen Hoffa, Izzy Rose. So I didn't even check like to see who was live or anything. Sometimes I try to do that to just avoid so that more people will watch, like especially when I feel it's like an important stream. But I'm just kind of tired, so I wanted to go ahead and do this early on because I know it took a couple hours to go through the 35 minutes that we did yesterday, which yesterday's live ended up being really good. And if you missed it, you should probably watch it. We went over the first part of Fred Hill's, what he said in June of this year with me when I was in Tennessee. And it's just very interesting to listen to now and compare to what Andy said like a week ago. Okay. And I found this in, I'm trying to think if I should play this because it was the part 1 last time where he talked about, he was like, Andy was on Ben Hill Road that day. He is so sure. And like, I was trying to find, I know somebody asked Andy during this Sunday Fun Day call-in what he was driving the day that Summer went missing. And I was trying to find that part. Okay. I haven't found it. I can't remember who was on. I think it was possibly Josh from the lab up on the panel or on the call asking him what he drove that day. But I'm having a hard time finding it. If anybody knows like a timestamp, let me know, because I just wanted people to see like kind of how he avoids, or how he says he doesn't know what he was driving that day. Thank you, Marlena. Coffee. I don't have a coffee maker here. I don't usually like drink coffee. I drink Diet Coke, but it's cool. I'm good. Felt like Andy can never remember anything. You're gonna remember what happened the day that Summer went missing. Like it just, you know what I mean? How's he gonna say that he didn't know what he was driving? But something like that, you're going to know that's just so suspect. Like, and listen here in this part, while I was looking for the part where he's talking about where he was asked, like, what he drove that day, I found this part. So listen real quick.
still letting people look through stuff, you know. That way I was on property if anybody needed me.
Okay. So if Jody Sue couldn't drive, do you think if you were at work all day and, you know, she needs something, do you think it was possible she would call Candace up to take her to the store, who would take her around during the day when you were gone? She couldn't drive.
No, she'd take herself around if she had the car. She kept the car there pretty much all the time. I usually had a truck. I had a truck and a Jeep I could drive. So she had the car there pretty much all the time, unless I just decided to take it if she didn't need it. Wasn't planning on going.
Okay.
So here he's saying that usually on a normal day at the Bernard humble abode, usually on a normal day, that the car that Andy was seen driving by Fred Hill the day that Summer went missing, usually it would be there with Jody Sue. But that day he was driving the Kia Soul. Fred tells me he doesn't remember him having a truck or another vehicle at that time, but I don't know. I just find it odd that he doesn't remember what he was driving. That's the only thing that really bothers me about that. And well, we just started. It's okay. And also, why did he cancel his live that he was going to have the other day? That's bugging me too. Like, I don't know if I remember somebody answered about that a little bit, but was that because, I don't know, Cracking Case has had a live recently where the part I heard, it sounded like they were, you know, starting to doubt kind of like Andy. I don't know. And I know that Andy was supposed to have a live that night, right? But he didn't. Did it have anything to do with that live? Hey, Natalie and Robin. Hey, Birdie. Sharon. So here he says in this little clip that Jody Sue usually drove the little Kia. Okay, so right before this too, which I was like, man, when I heard part of her question beforehand, when I was just playing, I was like, oh, I should have like played that one too. So before that, she asked him a question about if he went to work the next day. You remember when, and he says no. Okay, so listen to this part. Because Fred claims, like, for 3 days after Summer went missing, Andy and Jody Sue were sitting at the bottom of their driveway having their kids, like, be freaking little waitresses or servants, bringing them food down to the bottom of their hill there so they could see everything going on. And Andy even admits here that he doesn't go to work the next day, which is fine, but I mean, it just corroborates like kind of what Fred said, that they just like hung around at the bottom of the driveway for 3 days.
See them? Did you go up to the house to, bring food? You know, some people do that. They ask if you need anything or.
Repeat that one more time. My phone cut out.
Did Jody Sue go up to the house and check on Candace, see how she was doing? What can I do for you? Anything like that? Or did you guys kind of just stay away from the house and just mind your own business?
No. I mean, we asked them if there was anything we could do and stuff for them, I think. Now, I don't know. I didn't go to work for a couple days after, but after that, I don't really know because I went back to work.
Right. Oh, that's right. Okay, you didn't go to work the very next day, though, correct?
Yeah, I was sticking around. Well, I don't know. I think it was a couple of days after, but I was just sticking around, make sure everything was all right. Still letting people look through stuff, you know. That way, I was on property if anybody needed me.
Okay. So if Jody Sue couldn't drive, do you think?
I wish I would have taken notes when I was listening to this. Gosh, I always, so unorganized, always. Because he also talks about in this freaking interview or Q&A how somebody asked him about the cameras. And it seems like sometimes when you bring up the cameras, like sometimes he'll be like, well, matters which cameras you're talking about, what cameras? And he'll try to play dumb. You know what I mean? But when I was looking for this about when he was asked what he drove that day, he was asked about the cameras they had or something like that. And he said they had a camera that was facing towards the bottom of their driveway. This camera that was on Ben Hill Road across the street, like directly from Jody Sue's driveway, facing the driveway. There was a camera right there. This camera suddenly disappears, is nowhere to be found. Somebody removed those cameras? Like, what the hell? This camera was right at the end of your driveway. Why? Who would move those cameras that were at the end of the driveway? Hey, Dazed and Confused. Why would somebody who would have any type of interest in doing that besides Andy or Jody Sue? And why would they do that? Because they didn't want something seen. Oh, but they said they don't know what happened to them. No, it must have been somebody else that I guess going back there for a meetup that knew that that camera was there, and they took them down so nobody would see them going back there with Summer. So who else knew about the camera right there? That just so conveniently faced Andy's driveway. So today I wanted to go over part 2 of my conversation with Fred and start playing that, and we'll just kind of like go with it and see. I need to start taking notes. I need to go through that. I need to actually, before it can be, hold on, guys. 1 second. I think that's like very important. You guys, this Fred's words, I'm telling you, it's just so important. Just like that, I really believe like that I know some of you guys thought he was a little bit crazy, but that Top Dog guy, what he was saying, a lot of it, he was just spot on with some things he was saying. Maybe not all, I mean, not all of it, but most of it, he just knew what he was talking about. Okay, I downloaded that live. I just wanted to make sure I downloaded that before it had a chance to be deleted, because it's important. He's having a call-in for the 20th. Wait, oh, that says 8/20. Oh, the 20. Oh, 8/20th. 8/20. Okay, I'm gonna demo this one too. I'm sure somebody has them, but I don't know. People get freaking territorial with freaking things sometimes in this case, and it's ridiculous. So I'll just download it myself just in case people delete things, and I don't know. I just want to compare and contrast some things. At 5:13. What do you mean 5:13? So happy you're getting back in this case. Oh, okay, you mean 8:13. I see what you mean by 5 because it's a different time zone. I really miss talking about cases here. Aww. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, you didn't have to do that, Marlena. That's so sweet. Thank you. And just so you know, like me and Marlena talk every day, and people think, and you know how people used to say, oh, Ziggy only talks to people that send her money. They used to say that because, what the heck? Why does it show my internet strength isn't good? I'm plugged in straight to the freaking box. Anyways, hopefully there's no issues. I like a lot of the people I talk to on a regular basis have never sent me money, or like, you know what I mean? Marlena just did now, but like, and she's done a lot for this channel, like with the merch and stuff. But I don't, you know, that has nothing to do with it. Before my channel, when we'd have certain people on, yeah, it'd get so crazy and I just couldn't keep up with the comments. That's really what it was. And and I couldn't like ignore the freaking questions asked by super chat because that'd be horrible. So yeah, that's why it seemed like that. Did we see any proof of that protective order? Oh, thank you, Maddie. Oh, that's sweet. Well, thank you, Marlena. No, I just feel like, no, you can't rule out anybody, really. You can't rule out anybody. Even Fred, yeah. But I'm not saying ruled out, but I just say he says he's he's the least, he's on the bottom of the list, if you know what I mean. Like he's not like top concern at all. I mean, he's the least amount sus, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, and there's a lot of people that think differently. But I think if people talk to him, they would feel much different. But lip lock should keep her lip. What? This is my first time ever sending anything to Ziggy, so you hear. That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it. That's why I started to talk about that. I was like, wait, I better like not say anything because she might have sent something before, and I didn't want to feel bad if, like, I would have felt bad if I forgot about it. Yeah, but I did think it was the first time. I don't even think you. Yeah, everybody has like stuff going on in their life. A little outcry. What happened? What was the outcry? Yeah, people can have their own opinions. It doesn't have to match mine or anything. Just like be respectful. You know what I mean? Oh, what was the outcry? Don't get used to it. I know. That's funny. Oh, with the girl that she saw Summer. Him will get much better feel for how he actually is. I lean towards what you feel because you have talked to him one-on-one. Would feel if he was sus. I would think so, but well, thank you, Tammy. I'm kind of. I know what you guys are talking about the Tiffany video. Now I know what. Wait, I know what you're talking. Oh, you guys are talking about a thing going on between two creators. Yeah. No comment. Because I have enough like drama as it is, and especially like my real life right now. So I will try to keep the drama low for now on YouTube in comparison than how it has been before. But there was something else I was going to say before I started the video, but saying she reported where Summer's body was or something and waiting for law enforcement to tell her if it's Summer. What? On my last Fred Hill one? Hold on. Let me look. Lisa said, Ziggy, I want to let you know that Summer told me they found her body with the location that she told me she was at. And I emailed the authorities, so we should hear something soon as they know it's Summer. I hope you're doing better, honey. What? I guess I could show you the comments the comment that Roswell's talking about. I don't understand what she's really saying. So here at the bottom one, the Lisa Smith, it says, been subscribed to me for 3 weeks, says, Ziggy, I want to let you know that Summer told B they found, so maybe she meant told me, they found her body with the location that she told me she was at. And I emailed the authorities, so we should hear something as soon as they know it's Summer. I hope you're doing better, honey. So is this somebody like a psychic type thing? I don't. That's why I was wondering, Miss Glass. I don't get it either. How could Andy not remember what vehicle he drove that day, especially considering he's the closest neighbor? I remember every detail. Yeah, he stayed home for freaking days after Summer went missing, because he just wanted to be there to let them know if, just so he could be of assistance if they needed anything or whatever. Okay. Well, you're sitting there not remembering what vehicle you drove that day. It must not have been that traumatic of an event or really a big deal to you, but yet, I mean, you would think if you are missing work because of this situation that it would have been something pretty bad. That, I mean, it is pretty bad. A child was taken just like, the next driveway down from you. That would be traumatic. That's why you would remember what you drove that day. I don't know. Hey, Esdirk. Yeah, I don't know what this Lisa girl's talking about, but I think, see, that's the type of stuff, I don't know. It sounds like to me just like psychic stuff, and that's the type of stuff that law enforcement has to freaking go through. I don't agree with, you guys know that I do like watch psychics and stuff, and there are like a couple that seem to me to be pretty accurate. That sometimes, I'll listen to, but I don't look at them for facts. You know what I mean? It's like I look at psychics for who I would trust, who I think seems legitimate. I would look towards them for more like, it's more like ideas on how different ways to look at things. So that's how I don't look at psychics for facts. You know what I mean? And I don't think that psychics, unless you're, it's I don't know. It's a rough one because, like, I don't know about, they have to go through all these people. How are law enforcement is supposed to know who's legitimate and who's like full of shit, like when they're going through all these? You know what I mean? They can't like check out every single person's, every psychic that emails them or contacts them. They can't check out every single one of their premonitions or whatever they're called, or you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the problem. There is just too many fakes. Maybe nothing happened that day. Maybe Andy was there and helped with whatever happened. It wouldn't surprise me if he helped Jody and the son for sure. Yeah, forensic astrology can be fascinating, and the one that I've showed one on here that I was referred to, I think by Electronic Medium and Lady CG. They both like, I think were, yeah, they both were kind of praising this one forensic astrologer here on YouTube. And she seems like pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this second part. And when I hear things that, that I want to comment on, if anybody remembers the timestamp of when Andy was asked about what he drove that day, if you could let me know, like email it to me or whatever, but don't go out of your way or anything. I just would like to pull it back up.
I didn't know it at the time. I know she was doing drugs and stuff, but she was doing basalt and gravel.
With gravel.
And tripping and stuff. I mean, I didn't. I know she was tripping a little bit, but I let her. We was buying my away grandmother's place, and I had a canker pulled in. That's what we lived in here too at first, when me and her first got together, and then we had moved to Russell County, Virginia, on my grandmother's place, and I let my sister start staying there, and she got tripping on that gravel and stuff.
What's gravel?
It's more or less.
Real quick for reference, he's talking about currently the incident that happened when he was arrested when he was 45. When he got that felony I think it was 40. No, 35. When he was 35. Because I don't even think he's 45 yet. But anyways, he's talking about an incident that happened in Virginia at his family's place, like his mom's and his sisters or something, or the place that he was. I don't know. His sister went crazy, he said, and was kind of hallucinating on bath salts, or he calls it gravel or something like that. And he said that he ended up getting in trouble for something that wasn't even like it was. He feels like it was unjust or whatever, but he pretty much got in trouble for stuff that his sister did. Is what he's saying. And this video right here is me driving through Ben Hill. For this video, I tried to put pictures of summer related stuff. Right, Liz? That is hard for me to believe too.
Less like ice or pretzels and stuff in it. I mean, it makes them trip.
Mm-hmm.
They see everything. Everything got to get them.
So she was tripping, and
she come in and was see my old lady. My kids got up that morning. They went to school, all of them, but little Fred, and he was with Laura at the neighbors. The neighbors, old man was getting ready to come home from the hospital. He had cancer and stuff, and she went over and helped her clean up and stuff for him to come home. Well, during that time, there wasn't nobody there but me. My sister comes in my house, shoots at me while I'm asleep. And only thing saved me, we'd been shooting target practice the day before. My gun I had was registered, everything. I mean, I bought it straight out. It was registered. I had my gun carrying permit, everything. But
this was before you were
I
gone?
still don't know to this day why she done it. But the day before we been target practice, and she had 22 Dillingers open under 20 Magnum Dillingers. Well, she'd run out of shells. Well, I put some 17s in the same casing, but the bullets riddler. And the only thing saved me, because when she pulled the trigger, way the end of the shell's made, it just pops, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And the bullet ain't accurate then. It just hit loose in the barrel, and when it come out, it missed me. But she just had one more shot. But I shot 2 rounds in the outside wall, top of the outside wall, and then she evidently went and called my mom down here from Russell County and told her a bunch of shit. And then my mom called over there and told me I was supposed to the death, and I told them Laura Hossey, young Hossey, done shot the house all up, threatened to kill them all and stuff. And then she locked the SWAT team comes off. They didn't come out to see if anything going on or nothing. They sent SWAT team out with 26 felonies, 6 misdemeanor arrests went right in. And see, that's what lost young ones over.
26 felonies?
Yeah.
Were you felon before that?
No. I ain't had no charge before that.
I knew you didn't have it.
I so crazy. I mean,
I was gonna say, you don't have, like, before, I didn't find anything really on you. Not too much.
They took him. See, even when they got me, when they knocked on the door, I looked out the blind. I thought it was her maybe coming back to explain herself or something. See, I don't even know why she even done it to today. Only thing I can see
She
is
was tripping.
I see that gun she's loading, I see her car keys in her left hand. I mean, this plain day.
What was
She had just a weird look on her face. I mean, she was standing right over me. I don't see how she missed me. They went from the bed into the floor.
which sister was it?
My oldest sister, Julie.
And she was just tripping on that bath salt or something like.
That's my opinion. I mean, I know she's been tripping
Probably.
earlier that day and stuff, and I'd say to my mind why she'd even done it, you know. I mean, why she'd even tried to harm me.
She never did something like that before to you? I'm sorry that happened. That's horrible. I can't believe.
When they took me to jail, even though they for 4 more days they served me with it's unreal at the charge they served me in there on each child, like the children was there, and they was at school, they wasn't there, but they tried to say that they was there, and that's the reason they ended up losing them up and stuff.
But there was one there, right? Just the one?
No, there wasn't none there.
Oh, all of them were at school.
No, little Fred was with Laura at the neighbors. They wasn't nobody there, but just me when my sister come in. You see, and done that. They're trying to say that I was shot in the wild while the young ones was there and stuff, and like it was me and her fighting and stuff, which it wasn't.
Oh my God.
And then the cops and stuff, they lied. They're trying. I only court 15 times before I even got turned judge. I spent 3.5 years. Finally took a plea, got 36, you know.
You got what in there?
I took a plea.
And then they let you out?
No, they just laughed about it and stuff and threatened to hold me 4 more years. I'd been in front of court. Well, I was supposed to be in front of the judge. Every time I'd go, they would pay fines, so I went 15 times before I ever got in front of the judge. But that just like, even when, well, no, I'm lying. I had to go, not on my charges, but on the kids where they took them and stuff. I had to go to court and stuff over some of that, you know. I mean, social services and stuff. And that is like the woman that come in and took the kids and stuff out of the home. She's sitting on my lap, everything in courtroom. I mean, this crazy shit. Man.
Sitting on your lap?
Yeah.
Who was?
The woman that took the kids, the DHS worker.
Why was she sitting on your lap?
11 all of them and everything. Just right there in the courtroom, just like nobody else was there. I mean, stupid shit. They, just like my young one sitting in there on the back row, and me sitting in there, cycle chain stuff, so they had me on high flight risk, so I hadn't lived in Virginia for like 6 months. When we moved to Virginia, didn't even leave my property because I was afraid I'd get in trouble. I never even left the 6 months we lived there off the property.
Why were you afraid you were going to get in trouble?
I just know how Virginia is. I mean, the laws and stuff, and
you
don't want to get in no kind of trouble or nothing.
And
stay home.
Because were you?
So, yeah, I was curious why he thought he would get in trouble in Virginia, but this is around. Fred lived in I think it's called Duffield, Duffield, Duffield. So I think that's the same county or area that he got these charges that he says he got blamed for when it was really his sister that did some crazy stuff when she was tripping out on some bath salts, probably up for days. And Fred did shoot back, but he was in a dead sleep and had no idea what was going on. Like, he was woken a dead sleep from a dead sleep, like being shot at. He said the wrong bullet or something like that was put in the gun, and that's the only thing that saved his life, because it was fired at him from such close range by his own sister. And he's like, I don't understand why she did that to this day. It was actually kind of really sad. It sounds like to me, Fred's sister and mom, especially, even though he was so sweet when he would talk about his mom and any family, he would never talk bad about even his mom, his sister, who, you know, he got these charges because, and who shot him like, you know, a foot away from his head at him. You know, he didn't say anything like a bad word about her. And it sounded like to me that, you know, later on he talks about how his mom tried to kill his dad with, like, was it arsenic or something like that? I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm like, did she have some kind of like mental issues, or, you know, some type of undiagnosed issues or whatever? And he just, I don't know. To me, he seemed to kind of protect his mom. I know this doesn't have to do with Summer, but this interview was, or this part of the interview was referenced kind of recently when people were trying to, you know, look in on Fred's past and show what kind of horrible human he was. I referenced it, you know, to show people his side of the story of that. I also showed people how his, you know, he didn't get his, he had no charges before this. He had been, I mean, he had never been convicted of any charges. It did look like he had been in, and possibly some petty charges, or that he didn't end up getting convicted for, or something like. But he doesn't have like a crazy record like people make him out, you know. So yes, his mom was abusive, and that's the thing, is like he would kind of like make excuses for her. I felt bad for him. Like, it's so sad. Like, I don't know. He just seems like, to me, like, Fred just seems to me like kind of like a little boy in a man's body in a way, but like in an innocent way. He's very protective though of other, like, people he cares about, even though like you do him wrong, and like he's the type that will forgive you like right away. But yeah, he said that she would, like, to me it sounded like she was pretty abusive, but he kind of downplayed it a little bit, I felt like. I did talk to him in Messenger recently, a few days ago. I talked to him about Breonna Tester, the girl that was recently murdered, and her from the area that had some ties to Candace, who also at one time got in trouble for kidnapping, but I think those charges were dismissed. And her defense is that she was, you know, trying to save the child because from a bad situation. So I thought, well, maybe, you know, maybe people started looking into Breonna a little bit, thinking maybe she was murdered because of what she knows about, you know, Summer. Possibly maybe she was involved and thought she was maybe she thought she was saving Summer. You know, it could be something like that, a situation like that. But he doesn't know Brianna. I sent pictures and I'm waiting to hear back. I had to ask him again. Like, I sent pictures like, hey, does this girl, you know, is this who you saw? But he would have been pretty close, like, to the girl, I think. Like, I mean, as far as, like, how, I mean, I don't know if the windows were tinted or, you know, what. But he would have probably been only, like, I think 10, 15 feet away from where the girl was driving, from what it sounds like when I hear his story about how he was going back and forth that day that Summer went missing from his house to his mom's, and that the reason why he knows that Andy was on the road that day, and there's no mistaken, like, that it was another day, or that somebody else could have been driving Andy's vehicle. Like, maybe it was Jody Sue. I mean, she drove that vehicle most of the time, right? That's what freaking Fred says. Fred says, basically calls that silver Kia Soul like Jody Sue's vehicle. But yet, like, so he related that vehicle to Jody Sue, not Andy, but he saw Andy driving the Kia Soul the day Summer went missing. So if he was going to assume that anybody was driving the Kia, it would have been Jody Sue. Like, he would have assumed that was Jody Sue driving by, not Andy. But no, he saw Andy, and he saw him because he had to move a vehicle out of the way for Andy to go by. That's how he knows Andy was on the road that day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've asked the guy freaking 20 times. He never, ever freaking deviates from his story. He never hesitates. He is so sure, and probably so annoyed and tired of answering the question in 50 different ways that I ask him, you know, just to see, like, possible different scenarios. Because I wanted to believe Andy. I wanted to believe that Andy was you know, a victim of Jody Sue, and because I did notice, like, to me, Andy seems like very, he doesn't seem like he has temper. He seems pretty laid back. He doesn't seem like he would be, to me. So I wanted to believe Andy, but I also, of course, wanted to believe Fred, because he just seemed, to me, just so truthful in the way he just tells things. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't have to freaking use filler words to give himself more time. Hey, Scott H. Don was magically driving Candace's car that day, and Andy was magically driving Jody's car that day. Yes. I know exactly why you're tired and where you're coming from, Chris. And worry will bring you down quicker than anything, that stuff. But you're a strong girl and don't think you can't do it. Oh, well, thank you. Jenna, you told me how to pronounce it the other day, of course. I forget. The Subaru was Candace, and the Kia Soul is Jody Sue. Magically, Donna and Andy both use those cars they never use. Yeah. Andy does stall. And he'll buy time. He'll act like he didn't hear the question correctly, or he'll, like, you know, he'll just, like, he buys time sometimes with certain questions, and it's just like, dude, why were you on fucking Ben Hill that day? Give it up. Like, just tell us where Summer, if you know something, like, save yourself and go tell police. Go tell police what happened to Summer. Like, the gig's up. I don't know. That's how I feel. Like if somebody, I don't know. One of them, there's a couple people in this situation that probably are scared to death that the one of the others is going to, you know, cave and tell police, make a deal with police. I believe there's like a couple people that could get like probably, there are probably, you know, not directly related, or that have, that know like what happened that day, or just kind of, I don't know, witness something, or that could probably, you know, walk away scot-free from any charges if they would go to police. I don't know. They probably should be racing each other to law enforcement to tell. I know people don't like hearing like anybody having anything to do with it, you know, getting not getting charges, but I'm not talking about people that actually took her or handed her off. And if Jody Sue knows something or is involved, I mean, I guess there is a possibility Jody Sue could just be involved and not Andy, but I don't think Andy could be involved by himself, because he would never have left Jody Sue, because he would have been afraid that Jody Sue would tell on him. I don't know. The money Fred sees Dawn give Andy a sus to could be nothing, could be for drugs or hush money. Yeah, we already know one person who is a snitch to get herself out of her part. That's true. So, no. Dawn gave money to Andy. Has anybody asked Andy about this money? Did he act like he didn't know what that was either? Oh, I don't remember. I think somebody did ask, but I can't remember how he answered. Probably for some weed. Is that how he answered? I think I remember him saying that. Probably for some weed. The day fucking Summer goes missing, that's what they're worried about, is paying off a freaking weed debt? Are you serious? No. No father of a missing child is going to be freaking thinking about paying off a $20 freaking drug debt or whatever they paid. I don't know how much money it was. Why would they be concerned with that at a time like that? Either one of them. First of all, the father's not going to be thinking about that. And I wouldn't think the person owed is going to be like, hey, by the way, that money you owe me, when their son or when their child just got kidnapped or went missing. Yeah, Dawn goes down to Fred's 3 hours, a little over 3 hours after Summer goes missing. Or we'll say this, a little over 3 hours since he got home and 911 was called. He goes down to Fred's around 10 o'clock with his oldest son in tow. He takes Josie with him down to Fred's. Well, law enforcement's all down there at the end of Ben Hill looking for his daughter. He goes to the other end of Ben Hill Road to go talk to the local drug dealer, he tells the cops, with his son, Josie. Fred mentions that he thought it was really strange that he was taking Josie around everywhere. Yeah, and then that's another thing. They both said that, Fred and his girlfriend both said they, Don didn't come down there often at all. Actually, I think the exact words were like from Fred was like maybe 10 times over the several years he's lived here. Like he's probably been down here. And now he's like, and now since Summer's gone missing, he's probably been down here like 200 times. Could that be because Dawn thinks Fred has something to do with it? Or is it because Dawn knows Fred saw something that day? Fred saw something that day. And if something ends up happening to Fred, you guys, I think I mean, if I were Fred, I would be kind of worried because, I mean, I don't know. I think he really did see what happened to Summer that day. Or not, like, I guess I shouldn't say it like, I don't think he knowingly saw, but I think he, unknowingly saw, like, I'm not saying actually, he didn't actually see Summer. I don't think that. But I think he saw it in progress with the vehicles passing and stuff. And so, yeah, I think that Fred is a little bit of a threat to anybody who would have been involved that day. Yeah, let's continue this here. I know he's talking about his arrest in Virginia, but it's still important.
Probably were you using or something and just used from home? Oh.
I clean, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, when we first moved to Virginia, we cleaned up and hadn't done that in a long time. And we like $20 having enough money to make a light bill. And I called my mother and asked her to borrow you $20. She didn't have $20, but she had 30 rocks and 30s that I could sell or whatever, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing if I had them and they down and out again, that I'm going to use more likely.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's always been push with push like that. Every time I try to get clean or anything, family and stuff, I always rush it out back where they want to. It's all about control. I mean, everywhere I try to live, my mother's caused all kinds of shit from me. Told people we rented off of and stuff, telling them, oh, I'll rob them or I'll this or all that.
Why is that? Is your mom?
She won't. As long as I'm like this is her place, as long as I'm here, she's got control, she thinks.
Wasn't it something like this? She said that you guys were supposed to, or one of you guys was supposed to get inheritance or something like that.
Yeah, I was supposed to took in. We give up 2 different places in Virginia that we almost had paid off. And my dad, he didn't pay that off, hallucinating stuff, and what that was, my mom was poisoning me for strychnine.
Wow.
Poisoned her with strychnine. They going to charge me with it out of Green County.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Your dad? Oh, yeah. That's
what my mom was doing.
Right, your dad, but she was poisoning your dad.
And, I mean, he thought somebody got killing and stuff.
And he never used drugs or anything?
No.
Did your mom?
No, Mom never.
She just...
Well, she she's on pain medicine now, but it's prescribed.
Does she have mental issues?
Or any kind of street drugs. I've never known does mom or dad need one.
But she has mental issues. She has mental issues. Mental issues. Mental like.
Well,
I mean, I'm guessing if she's going to try to kill your dad, that you'd have to have something kind of wrong with you.
something, I guess.
Or was it money or something that she was trying to get? Like
No,
life
she just
insurance?
gets mad at people and does stupid shit to get revenge on them. I mean, it ain't gonna be nothing big.
Was she always mean to you as a kid? Was she mean to you as a kid and stuff?
No, she wasn't. I mean, my dad was real. I mean, we had walking eggshells our whole life. I mean, just like when I was growing up from age 7 on, I was either hunting or training horses or something. I was never hardly home at all. I mean, as soon as I got off the bus from school, I either hit the mountain or got on horse and I was gone until I went back to school next day and stuff. I mean,
I think speaking of the horses, I think that wasn't it Jody Sue like saying that you used to ride your horse out here? Did you ever? Yeah, and I think she was trying to accuse you of stealing things or something. I don't know what she was trying to say. That lady's so crazy. That lady is so crazy. Does she have a reputation?
That probably when this man over here, I had a little mule, and this man over here, every time I had him tied and up here, I'd tie him out and stuff, and he'd take and cut him loose no matter what I put on him. Even under lock and chain, he'd cut him loose.
What the heck?
And, I mean, he told me everything, man. He told me. But I feel like he has threatened me that he would see that I wasn't in his car in the morning, so no matter how extended he had to go, you know. So,
Wow.
I mean, that came out his own mouth.
Wow, something happened to you.
The property all around me now, I mean, I own, well, Mom owns 5 acres just right here, just like what you see in the smoke.
Yeah.
But he owns all the way around it.
Where did your grandfather live when he passed?
This next house right here.
He lives right there? That's where he committed suicide?
That's what he had bought was my grandmother's.
That's the house that he committed suicide? Is that the one that's haunted?
It ain't haunted.
People, I guess Andy or somebody was saying that one of the houses on here is haunted.
No, this whole hard is really haunted. I mean, that's why nobody really travels this hard. But it's the biggest traveled hard they are that everybody wants hard.
It seems like people...
Nobody will hunt this hard enough and not coon hunt and stuff at night because of the spirits and stuff that's in here. I mean, they ain't none gonna harm you or nothing, but you just, a lot of people see stuff and then see, like in 1944, there's a man on a little spot on the top of what they call a little mountain, where chimney top and little mountain met.
So right here, he's talking about, he starts to get into the monkeys, and I'm like, and that's like, I remember my heart sick. I'm like, oh, is like Fred telling me a bunch of bullshit? Like, because he started talking about monkeys, and I'm like, there's no way monkeys live out here. But I think he really believes it. You know, sometimes people have like strange, you know, like these like folklores or whatever, and sometimes people believe crazy things, and you know, many of us are guilty of it, and I just think he really believes it. I don't know. I will tell you, I was a little freaked out. This is probably like I talked about yesterday. This is probably at 2 a.m. the day before I leave. I'm on Ben Hill Road, freaking. I don't think I told anybody until yesterday that, because I knew people would give me shit about that. I'm out on Ben Hill Road at like 1, 2 in the morning by myself with Fred Hill. Okay, that some people think it's just so scary, you know, and it's just, to me, I find it laughable because I know he's just, I don't know, I don't feel any type of scared. I'm not scared of him at all. But what did scare me is like when he started talking about the whole road being haunted and the 150, 200-pound monkeys like infesting the freaking holler. Yeah, that freaked me out. And every time I hear his, like, he has this dog that's like black as midnight, like so dark, and hardly, you can't even see him in the dark sometimes. And it would freak me out every time he started barking at something. I'm like, oh my God, is that a monkey? And I didn't even want to walk down to my car by myself because one of these monkeys like might come out and like attack me or something. I wasn't scared of Fred Hill. I was scared of the monkeys, the holler monkeys. And thank you so much, Vet Girl. And this is like seriously so important this time. Like I was saying, I said this yesterday at 3:30. 3 to 3:30. Dawn goes, okay, she says, CW, so was it Candace Unmasked video? She said was 3:09. 3:09, okay. So 3:09, that's the time that, I don't know if you're talking about this, Vet Girl, but I know 3:09 is the time that Candace got home. Okay, so Candace gets home Candace and Grandis and Summer get home around 3:09. Okay, Dawn also goes on a break from work from 3 to 3:30. The tree trimmers leave between 3:30 to 4. Okay, I don't know about that, but which I'm guessing she knows. I haven't gone over the tree trimmers video for a while, so I can't remember. I know that they were there early, and one of them witnessed Candace leaving that day early in the morning, like 8 something, I think. Dawn Wells' phone erased 3:30 on. Really? I don't remember that either. So he had his phone erased from 3:30 on. Fred saw Andy Bernard from 3 to 3:30. That time range is about the time he thinks he saw Andy. Okay, well, that's quite concerning, Andy. This is like super concerning. And yeah, TBI last seen early afternoon. That's what it says on the TBI website. So yeah, you guys decide what early afternoon is. I guess that's all up to perception. That girl says 1 to 3. Early afternoon. I look at afternoon like, I don't know, 12:30-ish to afternoons, like 12:30 to like 12:30 to 3:30-ish. Early afternoon, if she was last seen, or I don't even know if it said early afternoon. I know it said afternoon. But I just say 2:30 because that sounds like about right time. I don't know. That's what I'm just kind of estimating, kind of an average. Dawn said all their phones have been magically deleted from 3:30 on. What? Don said everything was missing from his phone from 3 or 3:30 on. What the heck? Except the monkeys. When law enforcement TBI gave the phone back, all information erased from 3:30 on. Early afternoons, 1 to 3:30. Call the beginning. He said that he is not friends with them. He already sold them smoke, but yet they're up there 3 hours when someone went missing and nothing was said. What happened? So when they got their phones back, all was erased from 3:30 on. Wow. So it is like, you guys, so that to me, I don't know, are you guys thinking the same thing like as I am, that law enforcement is looking at that time span, 3:30 on, because they know that they see all these things that we see. Obviously, they've got more access and ability to access these details, you know what I mean? So they're seeing they're definitely, if we're seeing something, the more, I'm sure law enforcement has, hopefully, God, you would hope, have considered and are going over. But if that's true, I do remember, I think you, Dawn, I do remember that now. And I can't remember if it was on my channel when he said it. Our phones was erased from 3:30 on. Yeah, I think I can remember something like that. Don said everything was deleted after law enforcement took it, so when they gave it back, everything from 3:30 on was gone. Really odd, Don. Andy can't. Yeah, and then 3:30 to 5:30, Andy and Jody Sue are not in communication, but they were in communication about the dumbest shit the whole day. But you're not going to say, oh, a little girl went missing, or our neighbor Summer went missing? What? Who are these people? Like, really? Okay, so, and then Candace arrives home at 3-ish. It is a hot time. So Unmasked Video said, she said was 3:09. Candace? Yeah, I did a video timeline where I actually referenced, Krama Mama's, I think it was Krama Mama. When I say Krama Mama, I mean Jenny and Adrian. I'm not sure which one. I'm thinking they both worked on it, but I don't. Anyways, it was a timeline I referenced of theirs to help me build it, but I made a visual timeline of the route that they would have taken that day, more than likely, and like the times that they were at each place. And I actually estimated, and that's before, I don't even think it was on the timeline. Oh no, that's the time though that I remember finding out that she got home was like a little bit after 3. So, yeah, I kind of just like guesstimated. It doesn't make sense to me either. Like that whole swim, you guys, does anybody think that whole swim at the freaking lake at the swim hole was just staged? Like, I know that they went, but they only went for like a very short time. You think that was done on purpose? And if so, then that means it was all like, this was all like planned, and then it couldn't have been an accident cover up. She replies over a huge gap of time. Not talking bothers me. She was texting Andy, long text, and then goes silent. Then very short replies and no mention of Scream or her missing. No, it wasn't that warm out. If I remember right, it was like 70. It really wasn't that warm out. I don't know. For some reason, I'm wanting to think like it was low 70s, but I could be wrong. Because I remember people like thinking, oh, maybe she was left in the hot vehicle and had some type of heat stroke or whatever. But I don't think it was hot enough that day. Now, if you were put in the sun, I mean, yeah, even if it was 70 degrees out or whatever, I don't know. Like, if it's, I think H was used as an alibi. The high was 79 degrees. In my opinion, law enforcement is looking at H's house 2:30ish to 6:23 and the hot time of 3 to 3:30. Yeah. I wish freaking I wish like if okay, that's the most, if I could know one thing about this case, like a clue about that day, one of my top things, and I'm not gonna, I mean, without, obviously, I would want to know where Summer is, but I would really like something, if I could know one thing that law enforcement knows, that I know they know, I really, really would want to know if Andy was on that road that day. I want to know so bad. And if they think he was, or if they think he was seen, I want to know what excuse Andy's given. You know what I mean? I just want to know, like, if he's been, like, been questioned about it, what excuse was given, what she said. This whole camera at the end of Andy's driveway that just, like, for some reason, magically disappears. I'll tell you this much, 2021 was much cooler than, yeah. I think they did say they saw Summer. That kid was totally used, but he figured out something. Last proof of life would be H's house 2:30ish. And thank you once again so much for the super chat. It's really sweet. Here, let me, I think we'll have to go over that too, the tree trimmer video. Because wasn't it crazy that I just happened to run into the tree trimmers that in January when I went down to Tennessee? Like, that was so crazy. That was like almost divine intervention. Seriously. How do we, like, just so happen to stop at this, that there was this church where the little, you know, they had set up a little area, a garden area that they called, like, I think it was, they were trying to say it was a little memorial for Summer, but really, I think it was a prayer garden. It wasn't just for Summer, but anyways, like, how, I just don't, I mean, I just so happened to run into these guys at the perfect time. I'll tell you guys the truth why we stopped there. I mean, I wanted to see the prayer garden, but I had to pee so bad, and there is nowhere to stop out there. And yeah, I was looking for a place that I could squat. So that's why I was in that area. But I mean, I wanted to see the prayer garden too, but like, oh man. Yeah, I was the only one to interview them. Actually, one of them messaged me Messenger recently and asked me, like the latest on the Summer Wells case. And I'm like, really, just people are now really kind of narrow. I can't even say the word, narrowing in on Jody Sue. I feel like, and Andy, and I don't know, Fred Hill is, I think like I really believe it's so important. I truly believe it. I just wish some people would go talk to him besides me, because then you can get a better perception. But actually, you know, there was people that went with me, you know, so, and they could talk on his character if they wanted to. But where did you school? Started their search at H's house because Dave Radar told Diddy Run that was her last known. The police off the cuff said that they received a firm that Summer arrived home. That's right. It was confirmed that Summer arrived home, I guess. Wasn't it? I think it was. Could you maybe ask him to see if they remember any other details about that week they were there? Wait, are you talking about Fred Hill, Angela? No, details about, like the details that week that, you know, from the day Summer went missing on the 15th on. Is that what you're saying? Those like few days after Summer went missing, what else like Fred noticed strange? He's gave a lot of details. I don't know. The tree trimmers. I asked him to come back. I said, hey, I still would love to have you come up and, you know, talk about, you know, the day that Summer went missing. And I don't know, I think kind of that they're, in my opinion, they might be a little bit worried about getting in trouble with their job. You know, because they do work for a big tree trimming company that is, you know, Davy, one of the most popular tree you know, they wouldn't want to, I'm guessing they don't want to risk their jobs is probably a big part of it. That's what I'm thinking. He hasn't told me that, but that's just what I'm assuming. I mean, because think about it, the one from what happened to Devery. Devery just one day ends up on my panel. We need to watch that too. Like the billboard guy, he randomly shows up on my panel that one time. And at first I didn't even like believe it was really him. Exploring with Nugget. Yeah. I do have a video. It's so much background noise in the tree trimmers video. I think it's uploaded. If you just, it's just you have to really pay attention because it's so loud. They have those big trucks behind them. So here, let's continue this.
He passed away, and he had monkeys at the time. And see, they turned the monkeys loose in here, and they're still in here.
Really?
And that's why a lot of people don't fool around in here because of the monkeys. So they will get aggressive, especially if you by yourself, or a couple people will stay a distance, but if you by yourself or walking anywhere in here, you better have something back them off, because they will come in and...
You've seen actual monkeys out here? You've seen monkeys out here?
Yeah. I mean, big monkeys.
Like,
all of them are not like big monkeys. And they don't climb trees like you think and stuff. They stay on the ground most times. I mean, big. I'm talking about 150, 200 pounds monkeys.
wow. I mean, I wonder how they would survive in the cold weather, like the winters.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say, this is when I start to get scared. I'm like, I start looking around, and I'm on Ben Hill Road, like, you know, about, I think I was, there even at witching hour, 3 a.m. I think I was out there till like 4 a.m. or something. I'm not even joking. Sitting there talking to Fred, scared to go down. I didn't want to walk to my car by myself because it was dark and monkeys might come and get me. Yeah, that freaked me out more than anything, really.
Like it gets down to about, say, 37 degrees, you won't hear one, no signs of one nowhere. They weren't hollering here earlier, like, well, they weren't this time. Tonight, it was last night, it was hollering early last night. But they'll start out sound like a horn owl, they'll hit the time or two, and then you'll hear one way off, then once it answers the little heat, oh, they'll cut loose, all kinds of crazy shit. But August is evidently the breeding time, because you hear them day and night. Then usually you just hear them at the night, other than the month of August. The month of August, they get really aggressive, seem like. I mean, they'll come in close on you, and I mean, they come in right here. I mean, talk about the edge of wood, and into a trailer and stuff. And it's crazy. I had somebody come here about a month ago, and they was sitting in the car out there, and I talked to them. They one hoot, he said, "That's a big old owl." And I just kind of laughed, you know. And he said, "What are you lauging at?" I said, "You'll find out in a minute." And I heard that one answer. He was again, they went way through your answer. And boy, he cut loose. When they cut loose, cavalry's coming. I'm talking about, you can hear them coming.
What's coming?
I'm talking about 30, 40 feet at a time. Coming running. In. It's crazy, I mean. But I've been around all my life.
The monkeys?
Yeah, monkeys. They got human-like face. They got bigger nose, right? But they got human-like face. They got more a beard-like, but they got like a mane like a lion. And they, most times, ones I've seen, it's hard to really see them. You hear them more than you see them. But if you had never experienced them and stuff, you'd think it was an owl at first, you know, a horned owl hooting. But once they cut loose, you know right off that it's not no owl, you know, because they sound like a lake name and everything. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. Have you got? You should get that on tape because
I used to because always said this life on I they supposed to have them. They get mad as hell. And so I've lost my teeth now that I can't make the direct as I used to. I mean, like that sound, how you going around.
Because I thought monkeys only lived in warm weather. I didn't think there was any in the United States, actually. I thought,
They probably got in here illegally, and I'm assuming, and see, when that man passed away, the family didn't have nothing to do with them. So, they just more or less open cages and turn them out. And then they just, until the late 90s, you didn't hear them nowhere but his hollers. But now, I've heard them like towards Rogersville, on down that way, and on the different places. But for the longest time, like up to the late 90s, I'm thinking that
maybe it's Bigfoot. Maybe it's Bigfoot.
No, it ain't Bigfoot.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah, I believe in Bigfoot.
You do?
Yeah, there's stuff in these mountains and stuff that they never.
So, you'll see here in a second that I wanted to see without, like, because the first thing I thought when Fred started mentioning monkeys, I started thinking, are these, like, maybe he is, is using meth heavily, and is seeing these things, okay? Because I'm like, oh no, because I thought, I could trust what Fred was saying. At this point, I kind of get scared because, like, thinking monkeys don't live out here in Tennessee, in the mountains of Tennessee. I was thinking to myself, I know Fred can't be that, like, I know he's not a genius or anything, but so I thought, like, for a second, I was like, is he screwing with me at first? That's why I asked again, like, monkeys, Then I started thinking, could he be hallucinating when he thought he saw these things? So I tried to think how I would ask him about that without offending him. I mean, I know monkeys have been let go and stuff. It's hard for me to believe, though, that they would survive the weather out there. People have sent me a lot of, like, articles and stuff, but we haven't found anything about, like, I mean, we found articles on people, like, keeping them as pets and stuff like that, big monkeys too, but I haven't found any of anybody, like, anybody's possibly seeing any sightings of monkeys, So I think this is just possibly a story passed down, maybe from his dad or somebody in his family, that he's just, like, I don't know. He seems to believe it. And Fred thinks the first time he told me that he thought that she drowned, and then earlier in this conversation, he said that he thought that she was buried at the end of the driveway because he said that that wood that was at the end of the driveway was never there before Summer went missing. But I don't think we do know a lot of people donated wood and stuff after she went missing, so that explains that. I don't think there's any possible way. I didn't think of it at the time, but I wish I would have been like, well, I think maybe I did bring it up a little bit, but, like, I don't see how somebody would be able to bury a child at the end of Ben Hill, or at the end of the driveway, on Ben Hill Road, when there's all that law enforcement activity going on out there. You know what I mean? Because from what I understand, law enforcement was pretty thick in those parts for, like, a couple weeks, right? So how is somebody going to be able to get away with that? I would yellow trash cans. Tuesday, yellow trash cans. What day did she go missing? Yeah, no monkeys in Beach Creek. I lived here most of my life. Yeah, no, but no, he tells me when I was asking him, I asked him later on about meth and stuff, and if he hallucinates from it, and he said he said it just makes him feel normal. And I believe him, because I do believe that he's ADHD. In my expert opinion, in my non-expert opinion, I do believe he's ADHD. I could totally see that. And I do know those type of drugs do calm down people with ADHD. And sometimes people like self-medicate. I've seen it with like my own. I've seen it many times. I've had friends that would drink, coffee to just be able to sleep. You thought I was in shock? I asked Summer if Fred is telling the truth, and she told me yes. Oh, Lisa, you're the one that was saying that you're psychic, and there's trash removal on Ben Hill. I don't know why Candace lied about no trash service. What? She did? I know, that is weird that they needed a lot. And also we need to listen to see if Fred mentions them burning for days after Summer went missing, because that top dog guy, he said that Fred stated that Andy and them were burning something for several days after Summer went missing. It doesn't necessarily mean it had to be a body, but maybe they were burning evidence or something. You know what I mean? Tuesday is June 15th. What time does trash run on Tuesdays? So do we know what time it runs on Tuesdays? Yeah, was it a pay trash service though? Yeah, that's a good point, because I do remember, I don't know why they would need firewood that in June, but I do remember Don asking for it. Didn't he? I swear I could remember he when people asked him what he needed, he said firewood for the winter or something. Didn't he? There's a set time for trash. Like usually, maybe not a set time, but like a set, like mornings, afternoon. He told Chris that they used to have trash service, but they didn't offer it anymore for some reason, and that's why they had all that trash off the side of the hill. They're in the middle of nowhere. Why don't they burn trash? Portfall stuff is for us to get confused. The focus off Summer, and I didn't know this till last night, but people get paid to do this. The medium said that Dawn put lime on Summer so they can't find her. Lime? Oh, I think you're right, Vet Girl. Wasn't the firewood left from the trees being removed? Someone said. Yes, I think you're right. When the tree service was out there, they cut those up into, they had to I think I heard that, Vet Girl. I think you're right. The country, rural areas, you do have to pay for trash pickup once a month. You have to pay a payment. At the end of the driveway. But guys, something I talked about yesterday that's super, that for some reason I just had an epiphany, like, which one moment, I guess, that lasted for over a year. But anyways, why didn't I think of, well, actually not for over a year, for over 9 months, because that's about how long I knew about, or maybe a little bit longer, about the dogs hitting down by Fred's house, end of his driveway, by his truck, down that was down by Ben Hill Road. Like, I couldn't get past that. Like, I couldn't explain it. And I started thinking, was somebody trying to set him up? You know, it kind of made me like side-eye Fred a little bit. But then I just thought last night, I'm like, well, duh. If Andy and them took Summer down at the end of the road for this exchange, that's why her scent is down there at the end of the freaking road. But also, why would it be on that little bridge that was right before Fred's? I'm just trying to think, I wonder if Summer I wonder if they took her. There was 3 cars that Fred saw. Andy's, a dark truck, and a young girl in a car. 3 different vehicles that went back to the end of Ben Hill Road, which is highly, highly freaking suspicious. I mean, as is. But Fred didn't start thinking anything weird or anything, you know. He didn't think anything about it when that first truck went by. So I think that's why he doesn't remember it as well. But when he sees Andy go back there, that it was, you know, when it's completely just not normal for Andy to be back there. It's not normal for really anybody to be back there. Hardly anybody goes back there. Except Fred, if you're going to Fred's or if you're going to Redmond's. You're not going all the way back there. So Andy goes back there and this girl goes back there. I wonder if there was, Summer was, you know, there was some kind of, like, Andy gets back there and hands off Summer to the person in the truck, maybe? This is just all speculation, in my opinion. Like, was there a handoff to this person in the truck, and then this young girl comes back there? Was Summer possibly moved from the truck to the girl's car again, like near that bridge area? Is that why it was hitting in 2 different spots? I don't know. No, the info about the dogs hitting came from Fred. Fred admitted that the dogs hit at the end of his driveway. Fred was the one that told me that they also hit at the little bridge area. Kraken Cases like confirmed that was correct somehow. I don't know if they got it from where they got the information, but I think it's been confirmed that they hit over in that area. Put lime over a body? Yeah, but the dogs would have been. When did the dogs go out there? When did they take the dogs out there to look for her scent? When would that have been? Was it the day she went missing? Look at her walking around without shoes on in a work area where there's going to be nails. He's sitting there. Don's sitting there in the back, like hammering and fixing something, putting this flooring in. I think this, what she's walking around on right here, is their. That might be their kitchen area today. I don't know. Their floor in their kitchen area is kind of like that.
People never seen them.
Yeah, probably. I don't even think that there's monkeys in Florida. I'm trying to think where monkeys are in the wild.
Monkeys in Florida. They call them squirrel monkeys. There's squirrel monkeys down here. But the monkeys I'm talking about is big monkeys that's been brought in here probably from Africa or somewhere. I mean, they're not
like gorilla type monkeys.
Yeah, they're big
or where
and stuff. I mean, they're big enough to hurt you bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about plain teeth stick out like that. I mean,
well, do you think it's possible that an animal could have got from her?
not likely. It's all dogs. I just don't see no animal that come in.
What about bear? Have you seen bear back here?
Yeah, I fed him on my hands. I mean,
what kind of bear?
Like bears. There was a brown bear in here for a long time, but he's been gone for 5 years. So he come in here. First time I seen him was in '84, and I was like, he had to kill this heifer calf right here in this next field, and she probably 600 pounds and carried her, and you couldn't see a drag mark or nothing. I don't know about this bear was 1,100 pounds or better. He's brown bear. Everybody they don't like, oh, he's this blonde back bear. He wasn't no blonde back bear, because I know he brought the bear in here. He was one of my uncles that went A-Rad from war, and he come all the way through Alabama and Georgia and stuff, leading it with a chain. I got pictures, or I did have pictures. It's been burnt down, and that's where the bear comes from, you know. And he's here from probably the 60s plumb to, I'm saying 5-6 years ago, was the last time I seen him, and I figured he got old enough he just died of old age. Well, I figured. Because they ain't nobody missing and killing it.
So are there any bear attacks around here?
I've not never heard none. I mean,
because now that's what people like.
Bears, I don't think it's dangerous to people once in a while. Because I've not had no trouble out of them. I mean, stand your ground with them. They'll come in a lot of times, try to get you to run and stuff. If you run, they might get you. I don't know. Because I ain't never run. But
what do you do?
They'll come and you just pretty much just stand there and make if they try to rush you, just stand your ground, just throw your hands out like that. I have smacked them and stuff. I mean, you just stand your ground with them just like you would somebody. I mean, for real. And
make yourself much bigger like that.
Animals is really intelligent, a lot more than people think. Animals, I've raised all kinds of animals, and they're so intelligent.
Yeah.
They're pretty much just like we are. And if you talk to them just like we are, they understand everything you say.
Do you know Clyda Trent? The one, I guess she used to live over there at Don and Candace's at one, like back when his mom was alive or something maybe. I think she's related to the Trent girl that we're missing. Have you ever, I started to ask well, I did talk to your girlfriend about it, but, kind of, but I figure you know more about it.
Yeah, she's Laura, me and her, when we got together, I think Miss Gooden, they done already paid.
About the same year, I think she said 2007. I think Karen Go passed in 2007. Is there any chance that she was like a sister wife? Have you ever heard anything about people having multiple wives, and anything about that with Dawn's dad? Okay, because I noticed Dawn's dad has like several. I guess he has several kids by moms, and I didn't know. And also, when Dawn,
he talked about like his mom moved from like California or something to Virginia, and then it was like a cult like thing or something other. The man that she moved in with or something other in Virginia or something like that was a cult like way Dawn. I mean, Dawn had usually something like that, you know.
but she was
around this summer with, every summer with Miss Me talking about something other.
What with his mom? His mom was involved in a cult.
Mom said he's like, if everybody, his mom had a relationship or anything, this was more or less like a cult, like,
when she was with that Kelly guy, like she was married at least 3 times. So he was saying Don was talking about his mom was involved, or his mom or some guy that she was involved with was in a cult. Right? Is that what you're saying? Before her last husband.
Yeah. Well, he said like everyone that she had any kind of relation with was a cult. But
that's what I'm saying. Do you think? I was wondering if maybe she was a sister wife.
When Rick Robert telling me about what he had told him, you know, and stuff, and by then, if they did talk about it, it'd have to be some kind of cult, you know. So that would kind of relate back to probably his mom and all everybody. His I don't know how to say it, like.
Because they were all, his family is like Mormon, LDS Church, Latter-day Saints, but the part that they're like a part of, they're not like, usually it's the fundamentalists that have several wives. Anytime you need to go, just let me know. Sorry. Okay. Because I really feel like that his mom was a sister wife to a lady named Clyda Trent, who's actually still alive, and she's the one that inherited that house up there. It went to her, who was supposedly his Karen Go's supposed best friend, before it even went to Dawn. Dawn got the house off that Clyda Trent lady. And I was thinking, like, that sounds like some type of sister wife, like she was the other wife or something, and it went to her. Like she was, like, I don't know, but, and because the reason why I thought that is because I was noticing stuff with that with Dawn's dad. Like he had a lot of different, like, girls. I mean, I know that's normal now. Guys will have kids from different women, but like back then, I'm having a hard time finding any birth certificates on any of his family. And
I believe they was trying to stay under the radar or something. I mean, I really, kind of way I take it, way I've heard them talk. I mean, I didn't hear everything he said or nothing, but this way I gathered stuff, the way they said stuff and this and that, like they've always tried to stay under the radar, like carnivals and stuff like that, working in circuses and stuff. And
so that's funny because somebody brought up recently about the carnivals, and like that came up because, oh, who was it? It might have been, I don't know. I don't know if it was when we were talking about where Candace is right now, or what was the tie to Arkansas that we were looking into? And I know I talked to Liplock about it. But what was the tie? Something about Arkansas that came up recently. I can't remember. Don knew how to plant a body, bury it. What kind of do with body were no dogs? Because Karen had to be in a nursing home and they take all your assets, and she trusted Clyda. She was a close friend. Karen had to be in there. Huh. Well, yeah, that was for Daryl Coggins. That was for you, but there was something before that what was it that made us start talking about that? What I was trying to remember, but the religion thing sometimes like gets to me. It makes me wonder, could there be like a religious like tie to this situation? I still strongly believe, have not been able to prove it, okay? And this is just my opinion, and it has nothing to, I'm not saying the lifestyle is wrong or right or anything, okay? I'm just making an observation. It's strictly an observation. It is not saying it's good, bad, whatever. But it might be important to know when determining like what kind of religious practices Dawn and Candace were into, like the people they were around, like what kind of like, and what was acceptable. You know, I mean, sometimes like, you know, what they, well, sometimes these certain religions can have, you know, some beliefs that are kind of out there to most of society. But there is, I don't know, I'm not saying it's a bad lifestyle or anything, but I still truly believe that Dawn's father and mom were like into polygamous relationships. I'm sorry, that is just my opinion. I don't know if it's important, but I have not like been able, I have not proved it. I was spending a lot of time trying to prove that. For the longest time, I was really focused on that because I was like so sure. But I kind of got sidetracked with like regular life and stuff, but who knows, I might get back obsessed with it. But I think it's important in that, like here Fred brings up, because I asked him, you know, if it was possible that Dawn's mom was a sister wife, or into any like of that religion or whatever. He brings up cults because he was like, well, you know, if what Rick Crawford said is true, which is Marlena Crawford's dad, where he said that Dawn came to him, Rick Crawford said that Dawn came to him and said that they had to sacrifice Summer for their sins. Supposedly that's what Dawn told Rick Crawford, according to Rick Crawford. So what religion or what practice would be, what religion would that be? Could this be some type of cult? Like, oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. You tried to get your husband to get another wife? Are you serious, Jab? See, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, guys. Like, I'm just like trying to find out like what these people like are into, what their beliefs are, what their worldview is, how they look at life, and that way I can look at things from their perspective and their mindset, okay? Because it's super important. Like, it's really important. You need a vacation now? Oh, you mean, well, never mind. Probably be inappropriate for me to start getting into that kind of talk right now. What I was about to say. Yeah, and it does seem like Candace and, well, Dawn was really just expecting her to, you know, see her in the resurrection like she was never coming back. He was saying that the day Summer went missing to Fred. He came down there talking about the resurrection. Oh, not in the bedroom. Oh, okay. All right. Here, I'll continue this.
Most times when people have been mad, they're trying to stay on the radar. And a lot of times they'll use same name, the name of their kid, pretty much.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yes. Why does it do that?
It throws people out so they don't know exactly which one is done stuff a lot of times. Because they throw that name out there and then it could be him. You know?
That's true. Yeah, because like...
Then it's hard to charge all of them because they had to be one of them. And proving which one of them is hard a lot of times.
But see how, like, you see how your dad's name's Ronald Fred, but you're Fred
Jr.
And Junior's your actual middle name, right? It's not actually, you're not a junior, you're just,
my son's name's Fred
Junior.
The second.
Okay. But see, like Dawn, yeah, he has a son.
It's crazy. It's like, at the end of the road, when you first turn his car, hey, Donnie Rail, or Donnie Chambers.
Okay.
And then next house on the other side is Donnie Rail.
Okay.
And then the next place up is another Donnie.
Don.
Sherpy. See, Don.
So Sherpy.
There's another Don.
Blue, they call him Blue House Don. I guess he has a blue, or maybe that might be the first one that was talking about. There's something about Blue Roof Don or something. One of them has, that's what they call him on YouTube. I don't know.
I know the person that turned in the holler, I know he broke his neck in the pool.
Sherpy, that's the one, his son that's got in trouble with a bunch of child porn, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I've heard something about it or something other, I don't know.
You didn't ever hear anything like that with Don?
Yeah.
With Don Wells, you didn't hear anything about any?
No, I had never thought any way that Don would, anyway for these kids. Because every time I seen Dawn or Candace, Dawn usually was one that was trying to take care of the kids and stuff, and you know, I even told him one day, I said, if it wasn't you and kids, this hotel, what would happen, you know, with them. But I don't know what thing now, you know.
She was mentioning something that, okay, so I brought up that truck down there that you said, when did you get that from him?
About roughly 2 months before summer.
And was it blue was it blue or red? Because he was driving around the red one.
No, that matter. It's a real dark color, hunter green.
Because he had a red truck that he was driving around.
I've never seen on no red truck.
And maybe it was that one because the red interior looks like.
It's not been drove in probably 25 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
He's been like that right there. He come here one night and I was working on a motor out here and he mentioned that truck had a motor in it and so it's been rebuilt and stuff. That's how it come about. He'd give me that truck for the motor and stuff out of it.
So it hadn't been driven for a long time when you went and towed it down here?
He never drove that truck. Darn it.
Because he was driving around the truck.
For some parts off of it, see somebody else. He hadn't never drove it.
Because he was driving around a truck that's on his Facebook that has like a red interior kind of like that. If you get a chance, try to look that up and see. Because it
only truck he done, he drove a black looking truck, something like that, but I think it had blue interior. Best I remember did. He drove a 4-wheel drive truck, a light blue one, which is still down there. Well, every truck that he's ever drove that I've ever seen drove is still down there. I've never seen him drive no red truck.
Did they make you pay for that truck, or did you give him anything? Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I asked, it has nothing to do with the truck really. It's because when your wife, or I'll just say wife, even though you're married, you've been together longer, said that she went with you, right? Did she go with you to pick up that truck up over on Lincoln? And it's when she went there, that was just like a month or two before Summer went missing? Okay. And Candace was there. And that Candace was pregnant.
Yeah.
And that
Candace had a young about, I was thinking about months before Summer went missing and give it up, She's had supposedly several since Summer. Best I remember, it come out of Candace's own mouth, down there that she'd give them up, keep them living the lifestyle, or going through the lifestyle, or something other as the family, or something. It didn't make sense. I took it like they were being molested or something other or something.
Is that why he was getting rid? Because she was getting rid of all the girls.
That's what. Yeah. See, she talked like she had 2 girls out of Summer, but Dawn, she didn't know she was pregnant with one of them at all until she done had it and done give it up and stuff that day, before he even got off work that day. And then it caused a big problem and stuff for a while, I reckon.
So she went to...
That was about a month before Summer was missing. You couldn't even tell she's pregnant or nothing.
Because she said, Roy said that Candace stood up, and Laura said she noticed her stomach like she looked like she was she was pregnant. And she said that Candace was like, yep, I'm pregnant again. And this was like, when you were going to get that truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they deny any type of kids. They deny, the only one that I know of, that it was one that was before Summer, one girl before Summer, supposedly. And,
they should be in 2 after Summer.
Was she going to the hospital and having them? Or was she just having them?
She was, but...
Or was she selling them?
He's got me wondering now.
If she sold them? Have them and not...
Have them and done something with them or something.
Yeah, like selling them.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering now.
So right here we're talking about the whole pregnancy rumors. He's just like, they're so sure that Candace has had 2 other babies after Summer. 2 other girl babies. And that he swears that he heard from her own mouth. This is what Fred said, from her own mouth, that she wanted to save them from their, the their lifestyle. That supposedly Candace wanted to save them from something, and Fred took it like she meant SA. And now he says he's starting to wonder, like, did she even have those babies at a hospital like she said, or was she just like popping these babies out at home and like selling them? Somebody has to know, and the person that really would know is Marlena Crawford. I really want to know if Marlena Crawford knows of Candace being pregnant right before Summer was missing. Because this could be super, super important. I mean, obviously it is important on its own. It's a child, like, and where is this baby at? I don't even know how somebody could, oh God, dude. Candace, I'm telling you, she is so freaking, she has no empathy. You don't think so? Where's Summer? Why do you think that? That she won't, that Marlena will never tell what she really knows? She had photos of her kids when they were born. I didn't clearly tell they were in the hospital. That's a good question, right? Well, I mean, at the very least, we know that law enforcement knows if she had other babies that she suddenly are nowhere to be found. But if she was popping these babies out at home, though, I mean, with her stature and stuff, like, and the fact that she wore like baggy clothes, she could probably go almost her whole pregnancy without even like, without people noticing. But in the conversation with Laura, which is Fred's girlfriend, and Fred, they both said, and he even showed me, that's why I was so interested in that truck at the end of Fred's driveway. Wasn't a working truck, but the importance of it is he got that truck the same day that he saw freaking Candace pregnant. That gives us a timeline. If we can find out when he got that truck off Dawn, then we'll know when Candace was pregnant. Laura says that Summer had short hair. Her head was shaved, and she mistook her for one of the boys. So this is during the period. That's another, way to determine what period of time this was. Summer's head was shaved at that time when they got this truck. So that had to have been in early 2021, early to mid. What if Jody Sue's car and Subaru account have GPS pulled on them? Oh, it's that, Brandy, do you mean, by this, do you mean, is that, are you saying that for a reason why certain vehicles were driven the day Summer went missing? Like, why Dawn was driving the red vehicle the day Summer went missing? why Andy was driving the silver Kia Soul. Why? Why? You know what I mean? You would think that they would be able to pull GPS or something, or use something maybe. I mean, I know that, I don't know. Would they be able to see where that Kia Soul had been the day that Summer went missing? Which is that? Which is what? What do you think's made up? What do you think's the made up stuff where Summer and who else said it? Nana. What do you think the information that isn't correct, Nana? Hey, Lisa.
Because she didn't tell us she went to the hospital without us checking into it or anything. We wouldn't know, you know, and just assumed that she did. Just taking it.
Because, I mean, like, how would anybody know? You know what I mean? It's like, because you know what? It makes sense. Because when Summer went first missing, she was bigger. I mean, and I thought she's like lost a lot of weight, and I thought, oh, it's just the stress of everything going on. But then when your wife told me about that, I'm like, wait, she was bigger and she's lost a lot of weight. That makes sense.
There's been several people that we talked to that has even asked us, you know, have you heard that, we've heard that Candace told us that she was pregnant and stuff, and this. I said, yeah, we've heard, you know, through Candace, and so it ain't just us that knows, it's other people too, few other people.
Who, is there anybody you could say, or keep them out of it?
I know Vicky Dykes. She hung around Vicky Dykes there for a while.
Vicky Dykes.
Yeah, I don't think that she's been questioned or nothing much. She hadn't lived around. She used to live when you get there in the holler and you turn up the main road, the first house on the left. That's where they hung out a lot. Wales used to go out there and drink with Vicky's old man, which is Bill Benton. See, he got arrested down here.
Bill Benton?
About 6 months ago, so after Wells's.
Really?
Yeah.
For what? 6 months ago?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
After Summer went missing? For what?
They had a party or something, what I gathered for her, you know, they had some kind of party or something or other, and I don't know, so they're like 5 or 6 of them beat him up or something and called law on him or something.
And this was at 110? This was at 110 Ben Hill?
Yeah.
Bill Benton.
Yeah.
Do you have a pen out here? I wish I would have brought. It's not a big deal. I just.
Yeah. Good deal. Go to.
Okay, so that's the end of part 2 of the Fred conversation. And Jim, we need to go over the one I had with him in January also. I need to upload that by itself so bad. That way we can compare and people will see like he's been consistent. But I can't go over part 3 today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I have some other things I have to get done. Right, Nicole? He's just Fred is so willing to talk to people too. And that's just, it's so funny. I think he's like one of the most important people to talk to. surrounding this case, and nobody will go talk to him. I think, like, to me, I feel like he's going to be monumental. I really feel that some other people need to get out there and go talk to him. Just try to, I think possibly he might do better with women, or women, because he doesn't, I don't know. Maybe we could get a guy out there and see how maybe he might, like, maybe it might be better. I don't know. Fred is just very passive. He's not like a aggressive type personality, so I don't think aggressive would do good, or like somebody very, I don't know. But I just wish some people would go talk to him and stop acting scared of him. Via stories from a woman help. Now, I think he really saw Andy that day. I truly believe, and that's the most important thing of it all. That's so, his story about, no matter, with everything else, like, you know, even though I can't prove anything of his true, or I haven't been able to prove anything wrong either, though, that Fred has said, okay? Like, actually prove it. So, I don't know. I tend to obviously believe Fred, that he saw Andy on that road that day, and I just think that is, it's, okay, if Fred, or if Andy was on the road that day, like, why? And why would he, and if law enforcement knows was on the road, I mean, how is he going to explain that? He's trying to say he was on camera all day at work. Where was he? Was he on camera from 3:30 to 5:30? Or let's say, was he on camera from 3 to 4? That's really what I want to know. Like 3 to 4-ish. Oh gosh, sorry. It's rude of me. You cannot hear anything going on downstairs, nothing with TV on. What do you mean? Michelle goes to MGL. Nana, let's see. About, well, I saw what you said about you didn't think he had anything to do with it, and that's fine. If anybody, I mean, I'm scrolling up and looking. Yeah, but was he, how do you guys know this? Whose property are you talking about that looks exactly like yours, Michelle? I wish we could get Fred to come on here and talk. He's very shy. And his girlfriend is not shy. I wouldn't describe her as shy, but she's got anxiety. And yeah. He was seen on camera at 6:09. I'm a new creator. Drop me a link. I know who you are. You're Michelle, the one that. Wouldn't it be something if he took a lie detector test? A lot of these questions, especially about. That's a good question to ask Fred if he's taken a lie detector test. Actually, I mean, he told me himself that he recorded him, and he knows that I tell you guys everything. Okay, this is not. He was not tricked in telling me any of this stuff. But I did wait a while before I told anybody about it because I didn't want. I don't know. I didn't want anything to happen to, like, if Fred got hurt over all this stuff, you know, I'd feel bad. But I think somebody would be pretty ballsy to do something to Fred because it would be pretty. People would immediately look at certain people. But he told me specifically that he recorded him and Don's conversations for the police. That's not usually something that somebody who's like a criminal or a bad person would do because I don't know. They just feel like some people feel like that's snitching, and to me it's not snitching because the little girl, you know, a little girl is missing. Way more bothered by Jody Sue. Yeah, I think most people are more bothered by Jody Sue. We should do ask everybody that real quick. We'll do that real quick. Who are you more bothered by? Jody Sue. I'll ask everybody. And then I'm gonna have to go. Let's see. Who are you more bothered by? And I mean, like, when I see bothered by, I mean, trying to think if there's anybody else. I put Jody Sue, Andy, or Fred. Anybody else that's like, I think that's pretty much it that I want to add to that. And when I say bothered, I mean, like, who do you think seems most suspicious out of all three? Yeah, sussiest. Man, we need to pull up my conversation with Jody Sue. That's a good thing to revisit at this time too. My text with Jody Sue in January when I went down to Tennessee on Ben Hill Road and started making friends with Fred Hill. She didn't like that. It was like she had to put out there some freaking fake story that Fred Hill and her, like, you know, arranged this whole thing to screw with me. Scrolling back because I think I have. There's some, I don't know. Okay. Right here. This is my conversation when I was in Tennessee for the first time, so in January, and Jody Sue found out I was down in Tennessee. This would have been like the other group would have already been there. They were still there when I got there, but they left like a couple days after I got there. So that would have been like Molly Golightly, Olivia, JLR, and Andra. Okay, and they caused quite like a stir, I guess, with people. I kind of chose a bad time to go down there. But anyways, Jody Sue, you know, at this time, around this time, was coming on my channel a lot. It was like she was becoming a permanent fixture on my channel. Every day she was in the chat at the very least, or every night she was in the chat at the very least. And most of the time she was up on the panel. And I really hated her coming on the panel, actually, because she was a know-it-all in a way, and she always shot down everybody's like theories and opinions, like, and she just acted like she knew everything. And I don't know, she's very aggressive in her personality, and I'm just not like that. And but I did try to kind of, in a way, filter certain things on my channel with whether, you know, considering whether or not it would affect Jody Sue. And I just didn't like that because I had to watch I knew that I didn't really believe Jody Sue. I never believed the scream. I thought it was bullshit from the freaking beginning. And I just got so much shit from people because she was a domestic violence survivor, you know, supposedly out of this horrible situation, leaving this, you know, after lifelong of she was in this long-term 20-some year domestic violence relationship. She's just getting away. She was, you know, she's just dealing with being the neighbor of the you know, she's dealing with Summerwell situation, you know, and, you know, so I started to feel a little bit bad. And also I noticed that Jody Sue was speaking out more against Candace and Dawn. So I thought, well, so I started to trust her a little bit more, because at first I also thought that she was kind of sticking up for Dawn. Or Dawn and Candace, sorry. Oh, I'm so tired. But anyways, after a while, you know, I warmed up to her a little bit, and we kind of started to be in a little bit of communication. She started coming on my channel, but I had to just tell everybody after this conversation here with her when I was down in Tennessee, like, nope, she's like being weird. And this is right also around the time that in the interview room released the unedited version of that conversation with H, where he mentions the name Andy. Okay. And Jody Sue has some kind of breakdown on No Thanks channel with Doug. Okay. And I think Chris McDonough. But here she was just saying, she asked me if I saw something on Doug's. I don't know why I cut it off here, and I said, oh, I haven't watched him since he dissed me. So he wanted people to send the most to him first. And I said, ha ha ha, yeah. She said the last few minutes of his live with me in chat, the StreamYard link was sent to me 4:04 all night. So I guess that means she was getting an error when I don't know why she has to talk like that. She always talks in like poetic languages. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of saying she was getting an error when she clicked the link, she had to say it was the StreamYard link was sent to me 4:04 all night. Like, that's how she talks and everything. Do you guys notice that? Like, she says things in the most complicated way. Always. Like, it's crazy. Like, why do you talk like that? That's so complicated. Why don't you just say you got an error? So I had asked her earlier on, was Doug taking in donations for her, and she said that too. And oh, right here I had highlighted, he and the rest of that group announced to me they were going for Andy, and I lit the F up. And then she says that they were taking in donations for her also. Then she said, they're going to cause my kids and I to get murdered, or the goddamn public. They don't GD care. So she finds out I'm down in Tennessee. And she just starts, messaging me. This is during the time she just constantly was messaging me while I was down there. She said, long story, but they know. And that shit for 3 weeks was a GD set up, push to this. Only after they figured out I am in possession of some shit that F's everyone, though. Of course, I'll keep holding my cards for now. I'm like, holding your cards, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I said, Doug is a fake. I hate to say that because I think underneath he could be a good guy. I'm interested in hearing from Andy, but not because I care if he sold drugs or not, but just because he really hasn't spoke. But if me talking to Andy puts you or anyone in danger, then I wouldn't do it. It's not that important, I don't think. Or I said, it's not that important. I don't think Andy being the drug dealer really pertains to why Summer is missing. I think selling drugs is low on the totem pole compared to what happened to Summer. And she says, it puts us in extreme danger and the public. I'm not joking, and nobody gives a fuck or is taking it seriously. So here she's like really deterring me from talking to Andy, okay? Because I, tried to be, I knew she had been hanging around my channel like daily, and, I was trying to be respectful and just let her know, like, hey, I was going to try to get a hold of Andy. It's just because I want to hear his, side of things. It's nothing against you or anything. I was just giving her a heads up, and this is when she tells me basically, know how dangerous it is and stuff like that. Like, she really didn't want Andy out speaking. And she says, he has been vetted. See, here she's freaking white knighting for Andy, the one that supposedly is so abusive towards her, and completely, she cries on her channel about how dangerous he is to her children. And I mean, her own kids, like, your kids always, like, your love for your kids usually comes before a man, right? I mean, I don't know, but wouldn't you be happy to get rid of a guy who was like hurting your kids, even if it was the father of the children? I mean, why are you trying to white knight for somebody who you're so scared of people talking to because it's going to get you murdered or your kids murdered? She has been using her kids as pawn to get money from day one. She makes them scared of truly nothing. The only people she needs to worry about is who she narked on that are getting out of prison. Yeah. And they're getting out in like a week. Oh, shit, dude. I think they're getting out the 22nd of this month, guys, if I remember right. So here she starts white knighting for Andy. She says, He has been vetted. He is innocent. Nobody needs his side for anything. Michelle, I didn't time you out. Right, Nicole? I didn't time you out, Michelle. He has been vetted. He is innocent. Nobody needs his side for anything other than drama, than to eat him for profit. And that will get us or the public hurt or murdered. And Andy isn't the dealer, not even close. Here she says Andy's not the dealer, not even close. Really? Because I swear you just came out like telling everybody that Andy was selling drugs to the kids on Ben Hill Road over at 110. And you said to sedate girls. Like, really? Why are you knighting for him right here then? And telling me, like, which is the truth? Jody, is it right here when you're telling me Andy isn't the dealer? Or is it when you're on the live, you know, when was that here? When was that? Like a month ago? Telling everybody that Andy was selling drugs to kids to sedate girls? So which time are you telling the truth? Because they completely contradict each other. She probably is going to run. I really wonder if Jody Sue will run, but I don't know how she'd be able to do it because she doesn't have that kind of money. On what house setup, Michelle? I'm about to get off here, actually. What did Scott do? No, I'm not dropping a link, guys, because I have to go. Anyways, Jody Sue goes on to saying, everyone trying to get him knows it. So they know what WTF kind of bullshit they were up to. So really, she's like offending me when I was nice enough to come to her and tell her I wanted to talk to Andy. She's sitting here basically, you know, saying no one needs his side. Like she's talking completely condescending to me. Like she always talks to everybody. But yet, I really doubt anybody else freaking, you know, really messaged her for her, you know, to see how her opinion on whether or not, you know, or how she felt about them talking to Andy. But yet she's sitting here talking to me like condescending after I was trying to be respectful. Andy, and she goes, Andy and a random grandma weed doesn't have shit to do with summer. The feds are aware of it and have been since day one before dark. He is on cam 6 days a week. Same schedule, same time for years, plus GPS, plus car GPS, plus Google GPS I even have. This YouTube hunt for Andy is horseshit. But Dawn, Doug, CM, Josh, all trying, and it's horseshit. As you can see at the bottom by the state, it says January 12th. So this would have been before January 12th. Or it was January 12th or around there. Yeah, January 12th. I said, okay, well, I won't talk to him then. Not that I have an opportunity to do so. I just won't try or attempt to. I said, are you still wanting to meet for dinner or something? Yeah, and this is another thing. You know, she says, is Chris playing the shit with he and Joss that wasn't even supposed to be recorded? Oh, thank you, Marlena. Is Chris playing that shit? The shit he and Josh Wasn't even supposed to be recorded, LOL. And she responds to about meeting for dinner. I'm just getting up. I've been napping while my eldest could come in and watch my youngest. It was a rough night again. I said, I've been out and about and don't know what he's doing. LOL, I'll check it out. Oh, so she was messaging me about Chris McDonough. She said, F them. I'm so over this nonsense. And she said, it really only ends with my dead body and Andy involved somehow. And now YouTube helping it. She goes, it's cut off right here, but she says, YouTube helping it. Oh, well, it's just real lives for profit, right? She said something about trying for tomorrow. I don't know why it's all cut off right there. But anyways, I just showed that because of how you could see it proves that she's a liar because she has contradicting statements, like proof. We have proof of conversation here. One with me in text, her saying Andy is not a drug dealer. Then we have her on video like a month ago telling us that he is. Why is she lying when it comes to a missing child's case? Anyways, thank you so much, Roswell and Marlena. No, Michelle's trying to be funny, I think. So anyways, guys, I do have to go. We'll go over part 3 tomorrow, which I think, is the last part of the interview. It's about the same length, I think. And then maybe we should continue to the first interview after that, the one I had with him in January, or the couple I had with him in January. So, thank you, No Woman, No Cry. Let's see. Same setup here. Can't hear anything downstairs. Scared of threats because no one can be from downstairs with zero noise. Let's see. And somebody earlier said that they sent me an email, but I don't see the email. Maybe it's in my old email. Oh, somebody just sent me something on depression. Like the areas. Wow. That's interesting though. But Kingsport area in Tennessee, like the Bristol, Tennessee area, Kingsport area is like second in the rank in the United States of the highest of the U.S. cities with the highest prevalence of depression. Kingsport area is second. No, everybody, the Michelle lady is, I know who she is. She's Michelle Sabate. If that's you, Michelle, Call my phone right now. If that's really Michelle in the chat, call my phone. Waiting. Actually, maybe if I could just go to her channel. She's just not. What's your phone number? What? You know my phone number. You called it before. Well, I never have my ringer on, so. Yeah, she called my phone that one day. I think it was that she has my Google Voice number, I think. Man, I just looked at my text on Google Voice. I'm like, I'm so behind. Somebody was texting me, can you see Boo Boo for a second? All right, guys. Yeah, I do need to go, really. I have to get some things done. And yeah. So I will be back tomorrow. I mean, that probably really is Michelle. She's just a silly goose too, sometimes. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later.